Hello, it's Alison here. I'm just going to try to find how I can screen share. And then we'll get started as soon as possible. All right, if everyone could just go and grab themselves a notebook, I'm just going to go get a glass of water. All right, so today I'm going to be doing this webinar on if you have a marathon place, now what? How to train for your first marathon. Now, this webinar is also going to be relevant for anyone who is also going to be, has decided that they would like to run a half marathon, because there are quite a lot of similar principles. So hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I can't see the chat box when I have the screen, so I will, once I've finished with all this, I will be closing, like stopping sharing the screen, and I'll be able to see all the things in chat. So if you do have any questions, feel free to start writing them now, or as we go along, or maybe you might want to save them to the end. All right, so first one. This is the screen. Just share with me the topic for today. You've got a marathon place, now what? How to train for your first marathon with me, Alison King. All right, so this webinar is for anyone who wants to run a marathon or half marathon in about March to June of next year. I've picked March to June because now is about the time that the London Marathon ballots are coming out. People are finding out whether they have got in. For a lot of runners, it will be their first marathon. And I know that this isn't the only marathon that people will be running, entering. There'll be, here in the UK, there's the likes of Brighton, Edinburgh, Manchester, among others. There's also Paris, Rome, Rotterdam. If you're watching New Zealand, then you've got the Rotorua Marathon in May, as well as the Hawke's Bay Marathon. And over in Australia, there are a few there also. There are marathons all around the world between March and June, and well as also half marathons between March and June. This is also a webinar for anyone who doesn't believe they're much of a runner. And I'm going to prove to you that you don't have to be skinny. You don't have to have played sports since forever, and you don't have to run every single day. Now, what I mean by this is running a marathon is for anyone. Absolutely anyone who wants to run a marathon can run a marathon, so long as you have two legs that can transport you forwards, forwards momentum. If you're doing the marathon a different way, but this is going to be for running. So firstly, a little bit about myself, so you know where I'm coming from and how I am able to help. So firstly, my name's Alison King. My page, I have two Facebook pages. One is Fit for a King and one is the Oily. So I am a running coach. I am an essential oils expert, and I combine the two for quite a lot of people. I'm also a 15-time marathoner. So that's not just 15 events that I have entered, it's 15 events that I have entered and I have finished. I've also finished 4 Ironman races. So I've only ever entered 4. So an Ironman, for those who don't know, is a 3.8k swim, a 180k bike ride, followed by a marathon run. So if you're in miles, it's 26 miles. If you're in kilometers, that's 42.195 kilometers. All in one day, all within 17 hours. I've also run at least 15 half marathons, I've lost count now, and I'm coach to many novice runners. So runners who have just started running or have maybe been doing park run or 10Ks and want to go a little bit further. So that's me. The photo is of myself at the inaugural Hawke's Bay Marathon in May of 2015. That's 2016. I did 2 marathons in 2 weeks, so it was a very hot day. You might be able to tell from the sunshine. So that's me. What you're going to learn today is we're going to go how to go from where you are right now to running a long distance race, how you can do that on a minimum of 3 runs a week, what other protocols I recommend, first marathon, half marathon tips, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end. So hopefully you will learn quite a bit from this morning and feel that a lot more confident in your ability to finish a marathon or half marathon next year. Okay, so when I say that anyone can run, just want you to look at these 2 pictures. So the picture is of me on the left. It's from 2012. I had a 10-week-old son. I had just finished the 5K event at the Rotorua Marathon running festival of sorts. They do a 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon. So I decided after my son was born, I was going to do the 5K because I was doing marathons and running 5Ks quite easily beforehand. And let me tell you, it was quite difficult. So that was me with you can't see my 10-week-old. He was with my husband taking the photo. And on the right, I might look a little bit tired. That was me crossing the line, having finished the Rotorua Marathon, full 42 Ks, 1 year later. So my son there, he would have been 14, 15 months old that day. And I was able to train for a marathon. He was 11 months old when I started the training. I only did the 4 months of training. And I ran with the Lake City Athletic Club, the running clinic. And I was able to do it on 3 runs a week. And sometimes I ran even less than that. That's not ideal, but it can be done. So how can you get from where you are right now to the finish line of a half marathon or a marathon? I know it can seem quite mammoth if you're looking straight ahead from how can I run 42 Ks? How can I run 13 miles when I can only run 3 miles right now? So first things first, when I write down know where you are now, it's how far can you run right now? How often are you running right now? What else are you doing in your life that can help you to get to that finish goal? So when it comes down to how far can you run, are you going to park run, for example, every week? Are you able to run, 5 Ks? Or are you only running 3 Ks at the moment? I mean, there is no right and wrong place to start, but it's just knowing where you are now so you can then step forwards and increase every week or every couple of weeks so that by the time January comes around, when marathon training really starts to ramp up, especially if you're doing London, can be a little bit later if your marathon is a little bit later on. But January is when you are going to really ramp up your training and start following a specific marathon training guide. So right now, if you're only running 3 Ks, that's great. You're running 3 Ks. If you're running 5 Ks, awesome. We just want you to be able to then start running a little bit further. So maybe run 3.5 Ks and then 4 Ks. Or if you're already running 5, how about try running 6 or 7? You don't have to do every single run, running further. You should keep, a couple of runs shorter and then maybe run one longer one, because that is what you will be doing further on. So how often do you run? Are you only running once a week? We'll try running twice a week, and then in a few weeks' time, add a 3rd run into your routine. This is all about teaching your body now what it's going to be expecting to happen in January, because you don't want to, just carry on doing one to 2 runs a week right now, and all of a sudden in January you're running maybe 4 times a week, and you're maybe doing some other training as well, or you're not sleeping so well, and that's when injuries and overtraining can start to kick in. And we want to get it on top of it now, so that by the time December, January starts, he is in that routine of running regularly. It's already got used to running a little bit further and testing yourself that way. You've already got your running shoes that are working for you. You're not at risk of getting shin splints or injury. It's all about baby steps to start with. Don't start thinking now you've got to run a marathon. Now start thinking, I've just got to run a little bit further or a little bit more often. So that's that one. Now set a goal for your race. I don't mean, oh, I'm going to run the London Marathon and I'm going to do it in 3 hours 30. I want you to set a goal that it doesn't even have to be time-based. It can be, I'm going to raise £2,000 for this charity, or I'm going to run London and I'm going to run the whole distance, or I'm going to walk the 8 stations, or I'm going to walk the hills, but everything else. Or it can be just as simple as, I'm going to finish the race and I'm going to have a smile on my face. I'm going to enjoy every single moment of it. Like having goals, some of them can be really arbitrary, but they're your goals, so it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks of them. And one other thing I should have put in here really is know why you're doing it. Because when you know what your inner motivation is to do a marathon, then it makes it so much easier to go out and do the training and to even do the race on the day. So your inner motivation, like some people say, marathon because I want to lose weight. That's it's a good reason, but why? Why do you want to lose the weight? It's when you keep asking these why questions. It could be, you want to run a marathon because you want to raise money for a charity that helped your family, and you are keen to give back because you know that there are other families out there who could do with the support that you received. Or you want to run a marathon because you want to prove to yourself, or you want to give yourself a challenge where you are able to honor your body, the body that we've been given, by exercising it every day, and then by showing your family that you can, what happens when you give commitment and dedication to something, the achievement that you can get. It's all about, you can be a role model for your kids by running, because they can see that if you set yourself this goal, you're getting up, you're doing the miles, you then have that that reward on race day. Like, think of race day as your reward for all the training that you've done. So thirdly, get a training plan that fits into your life. There are so many different training plans out there on the internet, like so many, and you get apps for them. ASICS do one. I'm sure the marathon, but whatever marathon training you do, just whatever training plan you get, stick to it. Don't try to mix one training plan with another one. Like, you really just need one training plan. You can take elements from both. Like, if you have 2 or 3 training plans, you can take elements from all of them, but just create one plan to follow. Because you can get so lost when it comes to training plans, and you can compare your plan to what other people are doing. Don't worry about anyone else. They might have a training plan that's designed for runners who want to run like 80 miles a week. One of the Fit programs. That's fine. That's the one they're following. But it's not the one that you need to follow in front of you. Now you can get a free training plan, or you can get one off a coach who knows what they're doing. I've got some off-the-shelf training plans, as I call them. So they're they're training programs that are already written for half marathon and full marathon, based on beginner or intermediate runners. Or I can also do a custom training plan based on your life. It's like, I know for me, I can't run 4 or 5 times a week, and I know that I can't run the club sessions at the local athletics club because they run in the evenings, and that just doesn't fit in with me and my life and my family. I like to run in the mornings. I like to run 3 to 4 times a week, and I run in my village where I'm at the moment. So the routes I have are basically restricted to where I am. but I can do other things as well. And that's what a custom training plan should be able to do for you. It can take into account the time you've got available, where you can run, and just everything else going on in your life. Right, moving on. Take it easy and celebrate your achievements. So take it easy. Right now, work. You don't want to be thrashing yourself, week in, week out, trying to run every single run as hard as you can, as fast as you can, getting new PBs every single time. You want to take it easy. You just want to be able to increase the mileage, increase the time that you're out, run comfortably. You should be able to talk and run at the same time. So if you can't talk, or if you're having to take breaths in your sentences, then you're going too hard. And equally, be easy on yourself. You've got a long time before your race day. You don't want to, go out and do a run and then feel that you can't do your marathon based on one single run. One run does not make a marathon. And if you miss a training run, for example, like if you miss a run next week or you miss one in January, it doesn't matter. It is not going to affect your marathon. However, if you're going to miss a whole month of running, for example, if you take February off, then that will affect your marathon. But start by taking it easy on yourself right now. Get into that routine of treating yourself well, being kind to yourself, talking to yourself as if you were talking to your best friend. Like, just take it easy. And secondly, celebrate your achievements. Now, by this, it could be anything. It could be the first time that you run 5Ks. That's awesome. First time you run 10Ks. Amazing. If you do manage to take, a little bit of time off your park run time, by all means, celebrate that too. Celebrate everything you do. Like you might run up a hill, for example, that has always, had you walking it before. When you get to that top of the hill, feel amazing at what you've done. Tell your friends, write about it on Facebook, Instagram it, whatever. If people want to belittle you or take offense at you celebrating those achievements, that's their problem. You need to make sure that you are celebrating yourself, because every little thing that you do is going to help you get to that finish line, or even get to that start line and feel more confident that you can do this. One thing you can do is to, you can keep a notebook of all the milestones that you achieve, like a training diary, and particularly when you get training plans with myself, it all comes in an app process as well, so you can easily log those runs and write notes about them. I really encourage everyone to, take note of their first marathon and the journey it takes to get there, because you'll look back, like in February, March, when it gets hard, you can look back on October. All right, so stay on track and get over those hurdles. There are quite a few hurdles that we runners come across, and I have encountered all three of these in the course of many events that I've been training for. The first one, injury. If you do get the slightest niggle of an injury, please go and see someone about it ASAP. And that can be a local doctor. I personally would recommend going to see a qualified sports massage therapist, because they will be able to identify what the injury is and give you some kind of treatment plan to sort that out and get you back on track. They will also be able to do some light massage around the area, or just massage to get any niggles out. I mean, a doctor's great, but a sports massage therapist, they deal with these things day in, day out. So they're the ones who know exactly what your body is doing. And you can get regular massage from them as well while you're doing your marathon. It doesn't have to be every week. Once every 2 to 3 weeks will sometimes be sufficient. But then they'll also be able to notice any change in your legs, for example. So it's always good to get that sorted straight away. And if you are going to get injured, between now and Christmas is probably a good time to do it, because that's before the training will really, really ramp up. All right, so next up, motivation or no mojo. Struck by this when I trained for my very first marathon. I did the Loch Ness Marathon in Scotland in 2005, I think it was, yeah, October 2005. And our training was going so well. And then it got to like 2 months before the event, you know, when you should be doing your really, really long runs. And I just couldn't be bothered. It's like, what's wrong with me? I just didn't want to go out for the runs because, and I think it's because I was running the same places every single time. I didn't really vary my routes very much. Yeah, I just lost it and didn't really feel like going for a run. And then I think one weekend I decided I was going to run somewhere different. In fact, it was after I did a run after work one day. I went out and I didn't run with a watch. So I just thought I'm going to run from here to here, turn back, and that will be my run. If you don't run with a watch, then you can't really keep seeing how fast you're running or the time that's ticking or how far you haven't run compared to how far you think you should have. That's one way of getting around, losing that motivation because you haven't got that external influence on you. I also ran somewhere new, so I was able to look at different scenery and see things I hadn't noticed before. The run that really got my mojo back, I remember I took the bus, it was on a Saturday, and for my long runs, I would travel with just my fuel belt and my bus pass. I could always get home wherever I was in Edinburgh. So I got the bus out to Ocean Terminal, and so that's by the docks. And I decided I was going to run all the way along the promenade, Portobello Beach and all that, just to run somewhere different. And it was flat, so less of a challenge. And it was a really, really good run. It was, nice fresh air, sea breeze, somewhere I'd never run before. And I knew that if I did want to stop and get back home, I could because I had my bus pass. So that's one other tip. Run somewhere new. So run without a watch, run somewhere new. Another thing to do if you have lost your mojo is to team up with someone else. There's nothing better than having to run with someone else to get you out of the door. And once you do start running, it is so much easier. Right, negative self-talk. So when we are trying to do something new, it's really easy to let those mind monkeys run wild and tell us that we can't do it because we've never done it before. It's like, you can't run a marathon. Who do you think you are? You can barely run 5Ks. Why should you be able to run 26 miles, 42Ks? Are you crazy? You're too fat to run a marathon, too slow. You've never run before. Why should you be able to do this? Well, I'm telling you, you can. Like, get rid of that negative self-talk. If this was your best friend or your sister or your mum saying, I want to run a marathon, would you tell them to their face that they were too fat to do it? Too slow to do it? Hell no. Like, I know you wouldn't speak to someone else the way that we speak to ourselves. So it's time to stop with the negative self-talk. And instead, we can create some mantras. So when you're out running or, before you go out for your run, just tell yourself that you can do this. Imagine that you're crossing that finish line and the smile on your face. And you can visualize the marathon itself without having experienced one before. You can see yourself crossing that finish line, even practice your victory. That's a really good one to do. And just, the mantras as you're running, you can be, I am strong. One thing I love to tell my runners is that they are stronger than they think. So I like to run with that written on my arm. Stronger than I think, because I am stronger than I think, especially in moments of weakness. We are so much stronger. There's about being brave. You're braver than you'll ever know. You're stronger than you'll believe. Like, just whatever works for you. Like, there's a whole ream of mantras that you could come up with. I know some runners who they eat hills like candy. That's one. That's an American one. Release the Kraken. You release the Kraken. That's where you get real strong and fired up, and your foot goes down, and you have a bit more of a kick. So whatever works for you, there is no right or wrong. And if anyone wants to laugh, that's their problem. All right, so moving on, I'm just gonna have a quick drink. So I am all about training sane, not insane. There are many training programs out there where you can run, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a week, where you can run up to 80 miles, in your peak weeks. I don't subscribe to those. I believe in running 3 to 4 times a week, adding some cross training in with swimming or cycling, having one complete day of rest, and if you do park run, incorporating park run into your longer runs. So then you have a weekend day that is not running, and that can be your day of rest. So running 3 to 4 times a week. I typically run just 3 to 4 times a week. You'd like to have, if you're running 3 times, this is what I did when I was a mum, a new mum with a baby. Well, he was 11 months old when I started training for the marathon. He was waking during the nights still. I was just about to go back to work part-time. So I had a lot of demands on my time. I ran Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. The Tuesday, I would run 45 minutes. Thursday, run 45 minutes. And the Sunday, I would team up with the marathon clinic. And in the first week, we ran for an hour. And every week, we would increase that. There was one week, however, when we should have been running probably about 3 hours. And I had a really awful stomach bug. Came down with it on the Friday night. Still awake Saturday morning, lost 3 kilograms in water weight at 6 pounds for Imperial, and there was no way I was running on the Sunday. So I missed that Sunday run. So I only ran the Tuesday and the Thursday of the week before. And then I think I was able to run on the Tuesday after, but it wasn't, a full on, training session. It was just I'm just doing what I can to just get my legs moving. And I think there was another week I may have missed one of the midweek sessions, because I would typically do run in the morning. I wouldn't run with the club in the afternoon because it just didn't fit in with my life. So I'd run in the morning with a friend and then run on the weekends with the group. It's completely doable to do 3 runs a week and do a marathon. It's not always ideal, but if that's all you've got, you can do it. If you add another run into the week, and you can do a shorter one, make it a fast one, or not to do one that's in between your short runs and your long run. It's all about timing. You don't want to cram all your runs 4 days in a row. You want to equally spread them out. So if you were to run 4 times a week, I would probably do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So you've always got time off. If you do a run on the Saturday and then a run on the Sunday, your legs might feel tired on the Sunday, but it's teaching your legs to run with tired legs. So by the time the marathon comes around and you have followed your taper, that's where you reduce the training. You do that for 2 to 3 weeks before the marathon. So you reduce your training, and then your body knows how to run on tired legs, but it's going to feel much fresher on race day than on the longer runs that you've been doing had you been running on the Saturday and the Sunday. So I like to add cross training into my plans. So cross training is another form of exercise which works your aerobic system. So something like swimming or cycling 1 to 2 times each a week. So and cycle, you can choose to swim 1 to 2 times a week, cycle 1 to 2 times a week. And when you're doing swimming and cycling, you're building your aerobic fitness. So that's building up your lungs, the lungs' ability to, be working out and exercising and to get your heart pumping hard. But you're not doing that at the expense of your legs. So when you cycle, yeah, you're using your legs, but you're using different leg muscles in different ways if you're running. You also have no impact. So you're not, you're running on the road or a footpath 3 to 4 times a week. When you swim or cycle, you're fixed for all your other swims. And it's It's no secret, I like to tell everyone this, the best marathons I've had have been when I have been running 3 to 4 times a week and then swimming and cycling twice, but I wasn't tired and my muscles weren't sore and I didn't risk overtraining and injuring my legs. So if you can swim or cycle, that would be awesome. By cycling, if you don't want to ride on the roads, you can just do it on a wind trainer inside. So set up, it's an indoor trainer, you clip your bike into it, have a stool next to you with your phone and your drink bottle and a towel and cycle. And you can do like 45 minutes is ample. Take 1 complete day of rest. It goes without saying, you need to rest. Your body needs to recover. Ideally, I would do that on the Monday. So the day after, if you run long on the Sunday, like do it on the day after your long run. But when I say complete day of rest, I don't mean just like lying on the couch doing nothing. You can go for a walk with your family if you want. You can mow the lawns, you can, have a potter around the shops. It's just not, exercise as, prescribed exercise. Now, when it comes to run, if you do run parkrun, for those of you who might not know, parkrun is a free weekly timed 5K event held. There's over 400 events in the UK. There's events across the world, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Singapore, in Europe, like France, setting up in Germany soon, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Poland, and also now in the United States and Canada. So it's a 5K run and it's run on a Saturday morning. Over here it's 9 o'clock or 9:30 for Northern Ireland and Scotland. So you can do parkrun as well as your long run. You can do them on the same day if you want to. And this is how I did it when I was training for my marathons this year. Stratford, because I live in a village 6 miles out of Stratford. Sorry, I just had to have a drink. Drive to Stratford, I'd park at the sports club, which was just behind where our parkrun starts. And then I would run so for example, if I was doing a 20K training run that day, I would run 15 kilometers and time it so that I got back to where parkrun was. I had a drink, had a bit of a stretch, and then parkrun started. And I finished with a 5K run with a lot of people. When I did like 25Ks, the same thing. I ran my long run first, got back to parkrun, had a cup of tea. Cup of tea seemed to taste quite nice then. And then I'd go for a run. For my last training run before Boston, I wanted to run 30 kilometers because that's usually the distance I tend to go up to for a marathon. So that's in miles, I think that's about 19 and a half. But running 25Ks on your own can be quite lonely. So what I did was drove to the sports club as usual. I ran for an hour by myself. Then I went back to the sports club and I met up with someone else who she wanted to run. I was aiming for running like, I think 3.5 hours. So I ran for an hour by myself, met up with Hannah. We ran for 2 hours. That was her longest run. And by running with her, I ran in places that I wouldn't have been running by myself. She took me in a completely different route and that was pretty awesome. And then we ran back to parkrun where she was marshalling, not running that day. I had a quick cup of tea and then I didn't stand still because I really needed to keep moving. And so I just ran backwards and forwards along like a 100-meter stretch in the car park and kept an eye on, when they were assembling for the start. And then I joined the starting group and then I ran 5Ks. Now, the reason why I did parkrun at the end of my long runs is that I find that when I'm running long, the last 5Ks are really, really hard, mentally and physically. You just want to stop. You want to keep, stop and walk for a bit. But when you're doing it in a parkrun, you've got all these other people around you and you feel more incentivized to keep running. The run I did where I stopped and walked, and then I got passed by someone I knew, so I had to, pick up the pace a bit. So yeah, when I did that 30k, I ran a reasonable. I mean, my park run time was much slower than had I been running just a flat out park run, but it wasn't that slow. In fact, it was the fastest 5Ks of the entire run. So I'm not advocating that, but it can definitely help you feel much better about your running when you are running a park run with your longer run. Yeah, another thing you can do is you can run park run first and then run long afterwards. It all depends on your personality, really. I love getting up early in the morning and running. And when I ran park run, I knew as soon as I crossed the line and got my token, I could stop and I could have a cup of tea and I could have a slice of cake. And then I could just, chat with all the others. But if you are running long after park run, then be prepared for, finishing, getting your token, getting it scanned, and then having to keep going. And it all depends on how demoralizing you might find that. It certainly wouldn't work for me. So a Fit for a King plan, the plans that I write, they do allow for 3 to 4 runs a week, swimming and cycling. In my programs, it's just written as cross training, and a complete day of rest. And for new programs that I'm writing, I do incorporate parkrun into it. And for any running clients I've got, we have parkrun in there too. What else do I recommend? Well, firstly, if you can go to bed earlier, then I would totally recommend that, because sleep is really important. That's when our body starts to heal itself. I take daily dietary supplements, and I recommend the doTERRA Lifelong Vitality supplements to all my athletes. I have a photo of those up in a moment. I also use the On Guard Protective Blend to stay well. That is another doTERRA oil, and that has clinical studies to back it up. And I use the Deep Blue Muscle Rub for post-run soreness, and also pre-run, application too. Just flick over the pictures. So the supplements on the left, there's 3 of them: the Alpha CRS Cellular Vitality Complex, then there's the Microplex VMZ Food Nutrient Complex, and then the XE Omega Essential Oil Omega Complex. So the Alpha CRS is a cleansing supplement. It helps your liver to get rid of anything that's nasty in it, and it also helps to fuel your mitochondria, which is your energy powerhouse. As we get older, our mitochondria become less efficient at producing ATP, and it's ATP that our bodies use when we go out for a run. They're what fuel our energy system. The Microplex VMZ is the equivalent of 12 servings of fruit and vegetables a day, and the fruit and veg that they use in it is in a bioavailable. It's ready, ready for our bodies to use it. It's not, broken down and then created into something else. There's broccoli and spinach in there, and when it goes into our system, our body knows what it is and can use it. The XE Omega, or the VMZ, also has like all the vitamins and minerals that our bodies need in the required daily allowances. The XE Omega is essential fatty acids, so that's what fuels our brain, and we need these essential fatty acids to help with our cardiovascular health and our respiratory health and our immune support. Like, by taking all 3, you're getting every single possible nutrient that your body needs that it can't source from food. Also, with if you are living in the Northern Hemisphere right now, we are in autumn, we are going to go into winter, and we will be doing most of our running at night. We won't be getting much vitamin D. The Microplex VMZ and the XE Omega both contain 800 IU vitamin D. So it's 1600 together, which is like exactly what we need to give our body the correct vitamin D. There's so many other things I can say about these supplements. I mean, they're great for bone support, immune support, respiratory support, mood management even. I've used these for over a year, except for 1 month when I didn't reorder them and I got sick. But luckily I was able to bounce back reasonably quickly because I recognised the symptoms and got myself some antibiotics and back on the lifelong vitality pronto. So yeah, take those. There's 4 capsules a day. That is the full dose. 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, or at night. You're done. You don't have to think about any other multivitamin. It's all there in just those 3 tubs, and they come as a pack, so you don't have to order one then the other. The XE Omega, the essential fatty acids there do come from a marine source, but there is a vegan alternative if you are vegan or even vegetarian and you don't want to have the calamari, I think it is, in there. Next, the On Guard Protected Blend. It comes in a variety of different ways. That's just a bottle of oil. That's made up of wild orange, clove, cinnamon, rosemary, eucalyptus. I use that for everything. It's in my toothpaste, it's in my laundry detergent, it's in my cleaning concentrate, foaming hand wash. I have the roll-on to roll onto my feet and my son's feet at night. I also have the Protected Blend soft gels, so that to feel the weather, I take a soft gel, and if I'm going to be putting myself in a situation where I know there could potentially be lots of germs, for example, going on a long haul flight, going to, you know, somewhere like a race even, if you're going to be in an enclosed space where there is potentially a lot of germs, like people maybe have coughs and colds, I take that. Oh, one moment, I'm just gonna cough something up. You know when your throat gets dry from too much talking? That's what's happening here. And finally, the Deep Blue Muscle Rub. I swear by this for all my marathon training. And when I did Boston and London this year, so I did 2 marathons in the space of 6 days, I was using that rub every single day, at least 2 times a day on my quads to help them feel much better after all the downhill of Boston. It's really easy to apply. It doesn't smell quite so strong as Deep Heat, but it works in the same way as Deep Heat, but it doesn't make you burn up. It's quite cooling. It's got peppermint in it. It's got wintergreen, which is really good for aches and pains. So combine all these 3 things together, and you'll be helping your body, and you'll be doing it a really good service. One thing I should have mentioned with the supplements is that they help address the free radicals that, which is our body's exhaust system. And by taking the supplements, that helps you. If you have fewer free radicals, you're going to have fewer aches and pains. So using all these things together is definitely going to be a help. All right, so I'm going to go into some first marathon tips because I can see time is quickly ticking on by. Book your accommodation and travel ASAP to reduce the stress of that. Choose a training plan and mark the sessions in your diary or on your calendar. That makes them non-negotiable, and it also means that you're not thinking about what you should be doing the morning of a run because it's already been written for you. Book a 20-mile or 30k race if possible for 3 weeks before race day. As I mentioned before, I did my 30k run with a friend and park run because I couldn't find a 20-miler that fitted in with my training. If I had been able to find a race or a big group run, I would have done that too. I've done big group runs before and they've definitely helped. Find friends to run with you for your long runs. Get proper running shoes and ensure that they are the right fit for you. Yeah, if you get the wrong running shoes, then you could end up injured, and we don't want that. I mentioned this before, one missed session isn't going to ruin your race, so don't beat yourself up about missing one run for whatever reason. Practice your race day fuel on all your long runs. You don't want to be getting to race day and not know how you're going to fuel yourself through the race. You don't want to be trying anything new on race day. So use your long runs as a practice. You can try gels, real food, like muesli bars, whatever. As long as your stomach can cope with it, and so long as you can, digest it and it keeps you fueled, then that is going to work for you. Don't worry about what other people are using. By all means, ask if you want to try it yourself, but just because one person is using one thing on race day doesn't mean that you should be using it also. All right, and specifically for London, book a hotel close to the finish so you don't have far to go for a shower or collect your baggage if heading straight home. Now, this year when I ran London, we stayed in a hotel near Victoria Station, but because I was running for a charity, they had a reception area set up at a hotel on the Strand, so not too far from Hyde Park. So I could go there for a shower before then going back to the hotel to collect my baggage. Now it was quite tight time in the end because I had to wait for the hotel room set aside for that, and then we had to quickly get from, like, we got the tube from Charing Cross at the back of the hotel we were at. We had to go all the way back to Victoria Station, then walk. It was like a good 300-400, oh no, maybe like half a k, back to the hotel, collect our baggage, and then we had to get back to Paddington Station to get our train. And that was a bit of a mission. However, we decided to get a taxi from the hotel to the train station. So you want to figure out your logistics as well. Are you going to stay in London on the Sunday night, or after your marathon you're going to stay there for an extra night? Are you going to get a train straight home in your sweaty clothes or in the car? Just try to figure that out now, so that when the time comes you already know what's happening. While the London Marathon course is mostly flat, make sure you run some hills. There are some inclines on the course, and when you do come to them, your legs can feel already a bit sore. So if you train on some hills, then the hills in the run aren't going to surprise you. Maybe also look at the course profile so you can see where the hills are, and so you can mentally prepare for them. Leave plenty of time to get to the start. You don't want to be rushing around on the morning and getting flustered and forgetting something. Just give yourself an extra hour even. I added like a good 45 minutes to my journey, just so I knew I would be there on time, and I got there on time. Take some toilet roll just in case the toilets have run out. You might not need it, but then again you might do, so it's always good to have some spare. Take some throwaway clothes so you can stay warm. Because you are setting out quite early, it might be a cooler morning. Get something from a charity shop or some old clothes that you're going to throw away. Then it doesn't really matter. Don't expect to be able to run as soon as the gun goes off. I waited, I think it was 34 minutes from when the race started to when I crossed the chip mat. It doesn't matter when the gun starts, when the race starts. Your race time does not start until you have a chip, and that will be your individual time. So it doesn't matter how soon you cross there, you'll still get the time that you should get. It's not, you don't, just because you're crossing the line half an hour later doesn't mean your finish time that you get given is half an hour slower. All right, so, and this is just a picture of me when I crossed the line. I ran for the British Liver Trust at London because I really wanted to run London this year, and the British Liver Trust is for all liver disease, and my dad died last year from liver disease, so I wanted to help raise awareness for them. I think there was only 5 of us running, so if you can get in on the charity route, there's lots of small charities that will appreciate it. And so I'm pictured there. The red ribbon is my London Marathon medal, and the other one's from the Boston Marathon, just because I did the 2 in 6 days. I've got purple nails because that was the colour of 261 Fearless, who I ran with in Boston. And on my left arm, I can just see for Dad. So it was just a reminder of why I was running London. All right, so now I want to just announce the start of the Fit for a King running club, which is suitable for half marathon and marathon training, no prior experience required, and doors are now open. So it's £26 per month, and the first 26 will get the founder price of £17 a month. And you can see the web address at the bottom there. So it's fitforaking.life/running club. And I'm just going to show you what you will get. You'll get training plans to print out and also in an app format. So you can have it on your phone and you can record your progress on your phone or on your computer. You don't have to go to the computer to do it. You'll get monthly coaching Q&A calls. So I will be coming on live and answering any questions and giving advice for your training as to where you are at right then. There will be a Facebook group for group support and run feedback. So you can share all your runs as you do them in that group, and we will, cheer you up when you need it and celebrate with you when you reach a new milestone. I'd love to hear all the milestones of all runners in there. There will be monthly challenges also to help your training. These challenges will only be 5-day long challenges, Monday to Friday, completely doable by everyone. You don't have to do it, but if you do, it will help with your running. And you will also receive discounted one-on-one coaching consults and customized training plans. So I can write a program specifically for you, or you can just follow one that I have already written. I do coaching consults via Skype. I also do personalized training where the coaching consults are also included. But you can get all of this if you're in the first 26 for just £17 per month. Otherwise, it will be £26 a month. 26 for 26 miles, I thought. All right, so if you'd love to be one of the founding members, the £17 a month will be your price forever. It will not go up. So that's fitforaking.life/running club. Here's another slide, shouldn't be in there. All right, and here's the bonus offer. If you become a member of the Fit for a King Oils team and you order the Lifelong Vitality supplements and the Mito 2 Max Energy Complex, it's a caffeine-free supplement which has been proven to give you extra energy throughout the day, then you will receive free membership of the running club. And I would, if you want to take advantage of that bonus, then please just email me at hello@fitforaking.life or message me on my Facebook page at Fit for a King, and I will let you know how you can go and get that. All right, so there's a picture of me and my little boy when we were in New Zealand back in 2016. This is the beach at Matua and Tauranga. I would love to see any of your questions. So I'm just going to stop sharing, hopefully, if I can figure this out. Ooh, here we go. So are there any questions about how to run for a marathon, or I know the training that you need to get done? If not, I welcome all questions over on my Facebook page, or you can join the other group I've got, which is Fit for a King's Essential Exercise, Energy and Essential Oils. You can find that at facebook.com/groups/Fit for a King 3E. Okay, no, I think that's it. Thanks so much, everyone. And if you're watching the replay, then please just get in touch with me and I'd love to get started with you. All right, see ya.